Hi, Ina. Hi, Oliver. I just only wanted to take a few minutes to share a macro-enabled project which I only recently created. Something that I believe will help the Wiz invoicing team to track the invoices that we're handling more accurately, and at the same time, it will somehow help to save us time on tracking the invoices. So I actually called it as Swiss Invoice Item Format Tracker, or we can just simply call it a Swiss Invoice Tracker. It is a macro-enabled spreadsheet which automatically summarizes all the invoices that we handled on a daily or on a monthly basis. So the idea of this macro was inspired from the message or from the report that Olivier has sent to our Slack channel recently regarding with the issue or regarding with the report on the discrepancies in terms of the number of handled invoices that we report in the Google form versus with the actual completed invoices that Olivier generates every month. And so I actually think of creating a macro-enabled spreadsheet which somehow will help to ensure everything matches. So I just only wanted to briefly explain how each tab works. So for this one, this macro actually contains only three tabs. I just only added the assigned values. You can just simply disregard that one. So under the first tab, which is the item format generator, so the main feature of this tab is that it will automatically um, convert or auto format the new item that we create into a sentence case, because I actually noticed that most of the items that we create as a new item are all in caps lock, um, that we just only obtain from the PDF or from the receipt that we only process. So I think it will well, I think the our database will look more professional or will look cleaner if we're going to convert it somehow into a sentence case. So how it works, under the A4 cell, you can just simply enter the item that you would like to create. For example, I receive or I copy Parmesan cheese in all caps lock. So just simply hit enter and it will automatically convert or auto format to a sentence case. And then you can simply copy and then paste it in the in the new item box. And then once you hit the resend form, it will automatically refresh and then you can simply add a new item. That's the main feature of this macro. And then for the second tab, which is the raw tab, it is still a manual um tab. Or for this one, for the raw tab, it actually only stores all the invoices that we have completed on a monthly basis. But I actually encourage a team to also use this one moving forward so that they can easily pull automatically their EOD report for their checkout as well also for the Google form. So the first one is the actually I just only wanted to highlight this specific part because under the A column, which is the shift date, we have to follow specific date format, which is month, date, and then year, so that it will all the data will be captured under the EOD message. So for this one, let's delete first the sample. So this is just only a sample data. So for example, today's shift, I'm already done with my shift today. So what I'm going to do, let's say I already log all the venue name, all the venue that I have worked on, and then the invoices. So for each line item, they have to fill out the shift date, the venue name, as well also the converted. Each line, they should only log one invoice per line item. And then, for example, I am already completed with my assigned venue. I will proceed on the third tab, which is the EOD message. So here you will enter only the information under the B2 cell, which is the shift date. For example, today's date is 10/25, so I will enter 10/25, following also following the same form, which is month, date, and then year. Then after adding or entering the shift date, you will generate EOD report. Once you click it, just simply click these two um, consecutive error prompts. So once you hit the generate EOD report, as you can see here, it will automatically summarizes all the venues that you've handled for that day. So you can simply copy and then send it directly to our Slack channel as our checkout form. So instead of manually copy and then removing all the duplicates, you can just simply copy everything. And then aside from that, this is the main highlight or the main feature why I actually created this macro. Since Olivier, I remembered in his message in our in our Slack channel that he already started to encourage all of the team members to be more specific in terms of reporting the invoices that we're handling. So since Eden, it is part of her best practices to report it more specifically in terms of the statuses of the of the invoices that she's handling. So I was actually inspired as well. And somehow, when I started already to record all of the invoices, depends on the status. It takes actually additional time on my end. So what I did is to think for a macro on how I can simplify as well, or on how can it on how I can already summarize everything while still manually tracking all the invoices. So here you can see that it's more accurate when you manually check everything. It will suffice, or it will matches somehow the the status per invoice, or the total counts, depends on the status. So that's the second or the main highlight of this macro. And then for the last table, this will track the total counts month to date. So somehow it will help us or each team member to identify if we are still not hitting the quota. Depends based on the number. Of course, I know that there's another qualification, which is the quality, but this one will help somehow our employees to identify whether they still need to there's a lot of they still have to produce more, for example. And it will also somehow um identify the total invoices that they've handled for a specific month. So this only reflects the running month to date converted invoices, as well also the send for client approval, because there are some specific clients in which we have already completed the invoice. However, since we are not allowed to convert their invoice, the only thing that they need to do, or the only thing that we need to do, or last action that we need to do, is to submit it for client approval. But it is still considered as a prod. So I also add that one in the formula. And then once, for example, the full-time employee or the part-time employee already hit the quota, it will flip into different value, which is color green or yes value. So that's all that I would like to share with you, Ina and Oliver. And I hope that if ever if you would if you will approve this one, I could also share it as well with the team. That's all. Thank you.